You're listening to The Pop by Dr. Shané, the Pursuit of Peace podcast, where I'm your host, Dr. Shané Petit of SP Consulting Group, where our mission is to bring your vision to life. Join us as we have various discussions that focus on purpose, vision, strategy, and transformation on this pursuit of peace in our daily lives. Hey, it's Dr. Shané, and we are back on The Pop, the Pursuit of Peace podcast by Dr. Shané. That's me, if you didn't know. I am your organizational development psychologist and licensed psychotherapist. And what do? I work as the executive wellness coach and OD consultant for a lot of folks. So we are in this space now where we're going to be talking about, guess what? I think we're going to be talking about what people don't want to talk about. Crucial conversation. So today, I think about having crucial conversations with a lot of folks a lot of times, but a lot of people are actually scared or hesitant or feeling that they don't know how to approach someone. You know, it doesn't feel good. No one likes to talk about things that are disturbing, things that are of conflict. How about that? Just period. I'm up here trying to make it bigger than what it is, and it really isn't. And we're talking about, lighting coals. Like, we need to set some stuff on fire, y'all. And I like to use that terminology because when it's all said and done, people try to avoid having conversations when it comes down to conflict. But what people don't realize is that it really isn't a better way to go about these conversations. When it's all said and done, when I even was looking up, is there a better way, so to speak, of really getting into actually lighting coals? And yeah, even the net, the internet says that there isn't even a better way to light the coals. You just put two pieces, what they say, I'm gonna tell y'all, they said we need to just go ahead and put a couple pieces of newspaper together, right? You don't have to make it fancy. Just get some of that newspaper if you still get newspaper, It was funny, the other day I realized I needed some newspaper for something. I think I was gonna clean something, and I'm like, I don't even have any newspaper. I might start getting a newspaper again. But anyway, you just get some newspaper, pieces of, I don't know, if you have some paper sitting around, you can even tear off a piece of that charcoal bag that you have and just make it, where you fill it up, light it, and use it. Whether you're using it for a grill, to set a chimney on fire, if you have a fireplace. Really, it's not that deep. And I think I wanted to use that analogy for that very reason. When you are having conflict, you need to just talk to people. So many times I've even told people that one of the easiest things that you can do is just give a disclaimer. I am big on disclaimers. Let me give you an example. So if you need to have a conversation with someone and you're like, I don't know what to say, I don't know how to say it. When it's all said and done, all you do is say it and say, you know what? I don't know what to say. I don't know how to say it. But, and usually somebody will say, just spit it out. Just get it out. What is the issue? Are you at work? Are you at home? Are you doing something in the community? What is it? Either way, just spit it out. There isn't a better way than to just tackle your situations just head on. Some people aren't comfortable with people that are assertive and direct, and that's fine. But how are they going to get used to hearing that or taking on that, whatever it is that you're saying without taking it personal, basically? How do they get used to it if you're always being politically correct? Unless you are a politician, just say what you mean and mean what you say. Give a disclaimer. Say, I hope this doesn't come off harsh. I'm hoping that I'm considering your feeling. talk from your heart. Say it and mean it. You don't have to be mean. That doesn't mean that you are mean. It just means that you are communicating. Who would have thunk it, right? You are communicating. And communication is not just about the things that are positive. Communication are about the things that are challenging us. I mean, I even thought I was doing some digging, and this is just a random example. And those of y'all that know me, I'm always giving some random example, right? But say you're at work. Say that the situation is that you heard that someone said something very negatively about you behind your back. Gossip, workplace gossip. But you are upset. You are confused at why they would feel the need to come and attack you for nothing. You're the angel of the bunch, Again, exaggerating, just to say. But the confusion, the hurt, the emotions has you in a place where you're like, I don't even know what to say because I'm so upset I could cry. I'm so upset I could just throw my mug. I don't know. Either way, you're upset. A lot of times you get upset and the emotions are actually what is creating this distance between you just addressing the issue and moving on. Now, know this. If the person said things that trigger you, say something happens and it really triggers you and you know that you don't have the bandwidth to deal with it in that moment, take a break, take a walk, step away. Whatever it is, do what you need to do to make sure that you collect your thoughts, that you understand what your emotions are so that you can then regulate them. Now we're talking about emotional intelligence. Every time we talk, we end up coming to this at some point or another, but you have to know what you feel so that you can observe what's necessary, so that you can consider another perspective. You can be in a place where you are truly able to move forward, resolve an issue, and not sit there and really twiddle your thumbs upset for no reason. You can address it head on. People can get rid of these misunderstandings that are simple if people speak up. So there are ways that you can ensure that you are actually doing what it is that you need to do. And I'm going to bring this up because we always know that people are looking for what not to do. So I'm going to take you back to our analogy about lighting fire, right? Lighting charcoals, Some people think that it's best to use lighter fluid. They want to get this over with quickly, okay? But they may need to put a little bit of, pizzazz on what it is that they're trying to say. And it may be just because the person that you're dealing with. Again, emotional intelligence, the person that you are having to face. They may not receive it well, no matter what. Maybe it's a family member. They always take things personal, all of that. And you're like, I need to finesse it. I need to make sure that they know. But have you all had people try to come to you and tell you something or to address an issue and they just keep going on and on and on and on, to the point where it's just too much, right? Or even the opposite. They only start off nice. They give their disclaimer and you end up realizing that their disclaimer was just so that they can go ahead and do what it is that they said they weren't trying to do. I'm not trying to hurt your feelings, but they were nice. And then they turn around and just go ham on you. That's not what we're talking about. That you can equate to basically either putting just a little bit or too much of some fire fluid on your charcoals, okay? If you put just a little bit, it's really not going to do anything, right? If you put too much, Lord, have y'all ever had ribs or something that you put on the grill, something grilled, if you don't eat ribs, and it tastes like the lighter fluid. Lord, I have. I almost didn't go back to eating anything that was grilled because of that incident. I mean, I definitely got over it, but it's a chemical flavor and it ruins it. It also ruins whatever wood or kindling that you use to try to start the fire in the first place. Too much and too little isn't really going to work, right? So when you go to talk to someone and you're thinking, hey, I want to be politically correct. I want to maybe just not even be politically correct. I just want to make sure that I'm not hurting somebody's feelings. I know this person, their personality. Like, I just want to stay out of that space where they are more likely to misunderstand what it is that I'm trying to say and what I'm trying to do. You can do that. Just don't go into either of those extremes. Not too little, where what you're saying still is offensive, and not too much where you're just talking and talking and talking. And ultimately, depending on the person's characteristics, if they're someone that is bold, that is assertive, or if they even are at the point of aggressive, it's going to fly right over their head. And then you're going to end up believing that I knew it, right? I knew I shouldn't have said anything. It didn't even matter. Or I knew they were going to get mad, right? So find yourself in the middle. Make sure you use those I statements, right? That I feel, I believe, I heard, all of that. Y'all can look that up, get into it deep on how to use I statements to resolve and manage conflict, challenges, whether it's at home or at work. Remember, that's what it's about. Work-life balance. Either way, right? Another thing that you don't want to do, Lord, do not feel the need to take inventory of everything this person has ever done wrong. Every time you all had a misunderstanding. What is the point of that? Other than if it's toxic and you need to get out of the situation, away from the person, request to be able to communicate by email, whatever it is. What you don't want to do is just wing it. You want to be able to understand what you feel, want to understand what is it that you're trying to communicate so that it is clear, that it is concise, that it is relevant, and that there is something that you can offer. For example, I believe that every time you hand me a note saying, hey, that you are being nice to me. However, every time we get into a meeting, you seem to aggressively challenge everything that I say, and it's beginning to make me feel and or believe that your hey and your little notes to say hello really aren't authentic. Maybe they're not, that's just the feeling that I get. Could you help me understand you a little bit better so that I can be clear on your intentions? That's just an example. Super random. I just came up with that off the fly. Thank you, improv. Either way, what I'm saying is make sure that even when you're talking about grilling, let's take it back. You don't need to take inventory. How much will I be grilling? How hot does my grill need to be? How long, does it take to burn? These are things that you may want to do. You're not just winging it. You might need a whole chimney's worth of charcoal, which ultimately means you might need 2 chimneys to start if you're not using it for a grill. You just know that you need to make sure it's legit going to work for the quantity that you need. So, for example, also to the point of cleaning your grill, don't just wing it and your grill got leftover ash and remnants of your last meal from, the barbecue of oats, that can block people's airway. That can lead to where your charcoal doesn't even retain the heat that it's supposed to have. Maybe it goes out before. Like, don't just wing it. Don't just go in there talking about we about to have a whole meal on this nasty grill that don't even have enough charcoal. Make sure that you know how much of what you need and for what, whether it's your chimney, whether it's, again, your grill, whether it's, I don't know what else you would put it on, your forest fire that you're building, making sure that it is contained with like some bricks or some rocks. Just saying, preserve the trees. Anyway, don't just wink it. And when you're done, as they say in regards to your coals for grilling, let's just say grill, before you pour your charcoal into the grill, grab like, I don't know, like a, what's it called? Like an oven mitt or a dry kitchen towel that can handle something in case you get hot. So if you are, for example, getting ready to dump your coals, if you're making it a 2-zone, they say if you're making like a 2-zone fire, like basically you need to pile the coals into one side and then pour it. And it's, it's hard to reposition it, of course, because they're hot. But either way, make sure that you don't just dump it, because that's how forest fires start, right? At least that's what I heard on the street. Anyway, make sure it's contained. Make sure that you have your equipment that you need to ensure that the follow-up isn't a disaster. Okay, let's go back into the boardroom. Make sure you don't just dump it out. Do a brain dump in front of folks with all your emotions and what your thoughts were and your preconceived notions, all of that. Don't go there, right? Don't do that. Okay, just make sure that you have what you need, whether it's the date to remind somebody, especially if you only brought it up some days after. People don't typically just be clocking what time they said something, what day, what was happening. People are busy, and most likely if you're having a crucial conversation that involves conflict, then yeah, you need to come in a place where you can let them know what's going on and say what the follow-up is going to be. For some people, regardless of the role, it may be, you know what, I just want to check in with you later, or, I'll send you a notice just to let you know, or even ask if there's a time that they want to let you know how they're feeling. Sometimes you don't know how you feel about everything in that moment. Sometimes you need time to talk. You need time to think it out, and then when I say talk, like maybe you need to talk to someone about it, either way, don't just dump it all out, because you never know what it's going to lead to, what it's going to catch fire to. You don't ever know that when you just dump a conversation and dump your feelings on someone, whether or not it's going to backfire. Make sure you do your due diligence. Make sure you have what you need. Make sure you're saying what you need. And this is also in relationships. How about that? Don't just do some brain dumps and emotional dumps on people. Make sure that you come prepared. Don't just wing it, especially when they're crucial. When they're crucial, that's when emotions are high. When they're crucial, that's when people have a lot of stories already in their head, especially if you don't address it right away. And again, it's not always appropriate for you to address it right away, right? So I just thought I'd leave y'all with a few gold nuggets. Just a few. We will be back in 2 weeks. 2 weeks, shoot, it's already, oh my goodness, time hasn't stopped flying by. But in 2 weeks, I will be back with part 2 about these codes and making sure that we tackle challenges and these conversations that we don't want to have, and we get nervous and almost feel nauseous, with anxiety. Like, don't allow that to be you. Get into the space where your aim is to pursue peace. Peace at all costs. My discomfort isn't going to stop me from being at odds with someone, because that's going to create more of an issue in the end. So take what you will and, apply it to your life at work and at home, in the community. All right. You guys take care. We will be back in 2 weeks on Friday. That you share this if you liked it, if you felt it was valuable, if somebody was coming to you venting about something or had a hard conversation that they need to have, share this, like it. Make sure you let people know that I'm on here every 2 weeks, the second and the fourth Friday of the month with new episodes, y'all. Don't have me over here talking to myself. Just saying. All right. Love y'all. Y'all take care. Bye.